What's in an ending? Well, it's the most important part of the story where we see, hear, or read the resolution or conclusion of what we have invested our time into. Here, the artist gets to deliver the meaning of their work.
You know, the only thing that matters is the ending. It's the most important part of the story, the ending. And this one is very good.
The beginning may be as equally, if not more important than the ending, because you need to capture the audience's attention so that they get to that ending. If I were to ask you about Sixth Sense, The Others, Texas Chainsaw Massacre, just to name a few, what is the first few things that come to mind? Their ending. This list was inspired by the hundreds of answers we received on this question on Facebook, where we saw 60 plus movies suggested. We were able to narrow that down to 8, then to 5. And just in case you are worried that we might spoil something you haven't seen, fear not. Unlike those other lists like this, we will not give away the ending, because if you know, you know. And if you don't, you don't. Here are 5 horror movies with the greatest endings that you may not have,
or probably,
heard of.
what happens when a young couple decides to get away to a lake for the weekend in a horror film? Why, nothing good, of course. Eden Lake centers around Steve and Jenny, who run into some trouble when they confront a group of teens who are being overly loud and disruptive at a secluded spot that has been blocked off by the public. Hoping to get the teens to settle down or just go away, things go from bad to worse when the teens attack them and tie them to a tree with the intent of burning them alive in a bonfire. Only Jenny and Steve manage to escape when the fire burns through their ropes, causing them to try and escape while being stalked through the woods by the teens and their rabid Rottweiler. Just when you think Eden Lake is about at the end and you are able to take a breath to calm the anxieties that this film creates, the film takes a turn that will leave you shocked and in dismay.
Wouldn't happen to have seen a bunch of kids tooling around on BMXs.
That'll tell us.
They're coming to get you, Barbara.
1969's Night of the Living Dead, groundbreaking in the horror genre, but also in the film industry, because the film's lead protagonist, Ben, is an African-American actor who also struck a white woman in the film, which was unheard of at that time. A horde of zombies descend onto a small farmhouse where Ben and Barbara have taken solace, where they have barricaded themselves in while trying to figure out their next steps. They soon discover they are not alone in the house as 2 couples reveal themselves. Panic ensues inside of the home as our survivors plan to escape the home, which backfires, causing them all to have to fight to survive or until help comes. Which it eventually does, bringing the audience to a sense of relief. Well, that is until a single shot is fired, shattering our faith in humanity and all that is just in the world.
Martyrs might be the definition of watching a film and slowly being descended into madness. As the further we progress in the film, the worse things seem to become, all leading to a heartbreaking and shocking conclusion. Lucy escapes from an abandoned building where she had been tortured for a year and moved into an orphanage where she meets Anna. The two become inseparable as Anna tried to help Lucy with overcoming visions of a demonic woman who might be tied to her past. 15 years pass, and Lucy believes she has discovered the people behind her torture as a child. She breaks into their home to exact her revenge while also hoping to put the demonic presence that has haunted her to rest. Martyrs is horrifying, brutal, and not for the faint of heart, because each time you think that the film is coming to its conclusion, it picks back up and takes you down a new rabbit hole until we reach our shocking ending.
While camp horror blew up after the release of Friday the 13th, which had a twist ending that no one saw coming, no other film, with the exception to our number one pick, will leave you shocked, and depending on the age you were when you saw this, a bit scarred from it. In fact, I saw this as an adult, and I'll have to admit that I have yet to fully recover from the ending. After a tragic boat accident killed her family, Angela goes to live with her aunt and cousin, and is soon sent away to summer camp where a series of grisly murders take place, causing the camp to fall into chaos. Sleepaway Camp is very dated, but if you can survive the over-the-top, in-your-face, horrid stereotypes of the 80s like the short shorts, the bad hair, yuppies picking on nerds, and the dorky lines that someone thought was cool, then you'll be rewarded with quite possibly the best ending to a slasher film ever. That's right, better than Texas Chainsaw Massacre, better than Friday the 13th, and definitely better than Scream. If you're a fan of slasher films, this is a must-watch.
What's going on? It's death.
Coming away from the pandemic, never has a movie become more frightening since its release than The Mist. While originally many may have been frightened by the creatures to lurk about in a mysterious mist that engulfs a small town, killing anyone who dares to go outside, the horror comes from inside a small supermarket where several of the townsfolk have taken refuge, including David and his 8-year-old son, Billy. Like we saw in real life, mass hysteria quickly spreads within the store, led by the preaching of Carmody, that the mist is the beginning of God's rapture and he will punish all sinners and non-believers. She feeds on the weak-minded by spreading lies and amassing followers while explaining away each death as being just. The unrest in the store divides the survivors, causing them to fight amongst each other until Carmody feels that the only way to end the rapture is by sacrificing the non-believers. With her having convinced the majority of those who remain, David's son becomes their target, forcing him to flee into the mist with a few others. David, his son, and 3 others journey into the mist in an SUV, trying to find a way out, only to run out of gas, leaving them to make a tough decision, which is truly gut-wrenching and may never be surpassed.
Do you agree with our list, or do you have a suggestion for something that we should cover in a future list? Let us know by dropping that in the comments. And don't forget,
Like, comment, share, and subscribe.
thank you as always. We appreciate you for watching, and until the next.
See ya.